Hello, I'm Dilini Premchandre, a business lecturer of Scholar School System London campus. I'm going to present the fourth week lesson of starting a business and fundamentals of marketing. In this lesson, the learning outcome was to demonstrate the ability to find and draw upon relevant material to show that you can undertake simple market research and that you understand the role of marketing in a modern business. So, accordingly, in this lesson, uh, I was discussing about different financial options and the theories for financing as to uh, as to explain them how they can start a business and also I explained about the assignment. So first I started with explaining the assignment brief for F4M. So I explained them that they have to do the marketing plan post presentation, which is an infographic presentation, infographic poster. And I explained them that they have to explain basically about these things, right? Like how they're going to analyze the external environment, how they do the external audit of the environment, and how to analyze about the competition, market segmentation, target markets. They need to mainly include these things, and um, I explained them that they need to think of a business idea that they're going to start, and then uh, also demonstrating the ability to find and draw upon relevant material to show that you can undertake simple market research and that you understand the role of marketing in a modern business. And I explained them that it has to be a well structured poster so that we can easily understand what they're going to present. So, since we have covered most of these topics, it was easier for me to explain them that what they need to include in each of these topics. So I explained them that um, for the new business that they're going to start, that they have to construct the business plan, including these things. So I've taught them vision, mission, objectives, and SWOT analysis, segmentation, targeting, and positioning. So accordingly, I briefly explained about these topics and how they need to uh, include these things in their business plan. And today we're going to talk about investment needs and financing opportunities. And also I explained about the presentation that they need to do. Uh, I explained them that what is the process that we go through when presenting that we uh, how we're going to give the formal feedback for their presentations, then how I can support them as to improve their presentation skills, and how I can help them as to improve their infographic poster. Basically, I explained all the basic things for the assignment brief and told them that I will be guiding them throughout the semester as to how they can complete this assignment. Also, I explained about the marking structure as well, marking scheme. So I told them that when they're doing the presentation, that they have to basically focus on these criteria. Then with that, um, I started the after that explanation about the assignment. I started the lesson about financing, how we can find financing, and what how we can manage the financing of a business. So first of all, I started with this introductory slide. What is business finance? So business finance is funding, right? The funding a business will need for commercial purposes. So when we run a business, there can be so many activities that we need to undertake. So for all these things, we will have to we will need funds. We will have to finance these activities. To start the business, to run the business, to expand the business, for all these things, financing is important. So financing is the foundation of any business. Therefore, uh, because we need financing in order to start the business, in order to operate and run the business, and to expand the business. When we need to grow the business, we will have to buy the resources, we will have to do certain investments. So we need financing. So it's nearly impossible to succeed without strong finances in place. And it's basically about how a business is managing finance. So I explained to them that even in their personal life, it is about managing the finance. That financing is a very important thing for a business and even for our personal life. And we need to learn how to manage financing. So financing is used to purchase assets and to buy goods and raw materials. So essentially, anything that will push the business forward is uh, uh, funded with finance. Therefore, financing is very important. So basically, we can say it's the foundation of the business. When it comes to managing business finance, we can find that there are mainly three business finance principles: investment principle, financial principle, and dividend principle. Under investment principle, so first we will see what is the meaning of investment. So investment is all about that you are giving your money and with the purpose of generating future income. So it is an asset or item acquired with the goal of generating income. When you invest your money, you will be able to generate income in the future. So you are investing money with the purpose of gaining some income. So when you are doing an investment, I told them that for a business, they cannot simply go and invest the money in whatever the opportunities that they find. They will have to analyze, they will have to evaluate the available opportunities in order to find out how they will be able to increase their profit, and what is the return on investment. Mainly they have to think of that. So an investment always concerns that outlay of some resources today, and so it can be in the form of time, effort, money, or an asset, and in hopes of greater payoff in the future than what was originally put in. Now, for example, if you invest your money in a limited company, in shares, if you purchase shares, so that is an investment that you have done in a limited company. So in return for the investment, you will be able to gain dividends. So that is your return on the income. So when you do an investment, always you have to analyze, you have to evaluate that investment opportunity, for how long you will be able to gain benefits, how for and to what extent you will be able to gain benefits, and is it justifiable with compared to the investment? What is the return on investment? So you will have to think of these things. So for example, one can buy gold, so in the hope of with the hope that the value of gold will increase, so that the person can sell the gold and gain some income. So this is the basic meaning of investment. So on the investment principle, these are the important things. So most important decision for the business is to invest wisely and allocate its resources. So they cannot go and put in their money for whatever the options that they find. They will have to evaluate. So think about where is the need of investment, and where this could be useful, and you have to focus on the investment requirement and plan decisions. And doing unplanned investment can have adverse effects on the business. Okay, so why do we have to make planned decisions when investing? It is because that for a business, they will need finance for all the things that they do. So as we discussed in the previous slide, investment is important for almost all the things. Therefore, we have to consider what is the requirement for the investment. Do we have enough money to invest? And otherwise, what will happen is, if we run out of money, then we will have to borrow money, which may increase cost to the business. So doing unplanned investment can always have adverse effect. So in order to avoid such adverse effect, in order to avoid increasing of costs, we always have to plan how we're going to use our finance, and what are the available investment opportunities, and what would be the best investment opportunity to invest the money of the business. When it comes to financial principle, we consider that it's an important factor for the business finance to have right level of capital, equity, or other debts. So we can't say that it is good to have lots of equity, or it is good to have lots of debts, because for both equity and debts, there are advantages as well as disadvantages. So if it is equity, then the business will have to pay out dividends, so that will be a cost for the business. And if it is debt, then they will have to pay interest. They will have to pay interest to the debt provider. Therefore, it is important for the business to always find the balance between equity and debts. So an important decision is to have debt or equity or mix of both. Always the business need to maintain balance. They need to have both equity as well as debt, and they need to maintain the right balance between these two. So that is about financial principle. And the third one is dividend principle. So with time, when the business is gaining profit, then they will have to pay the reward for the owners, because owners have invested their money in the business. So for example, for the shareholders of the company, the business will have to pay the dividend. So the decision is important. The decision of making dividend is important, because that is about distributing the excess cash and keep it in for investment. So how much you're going to pay as the dividend is going to be an important decision, because because the business will have to retain some amount of money before distributing before paying out the money as dividends. So another important decision is about when to distribute. So usually companies have to pay the dividends when the company is making profit. So they will have to decide when they're going to distribute, when they're going to pay out the dividend. So this is so all these decisions should be according to a plan. So they need to understand what are the expenses they have, what are the um, uh, how much financing they will need to run the business, and accordingly then how much funds are available for investment, and how much fund can be allocated for dividends. So all these things should be decided wisely. So, why financial opportunities are important? So, financing help a business for these things. So, it funds the startup cost of a business. So, in order to start a business, we may need different resources. So, always there is an upfront capital that we will have to cover when starting a business. For example, we will have to buy the building, and we will have to buy other furniture, machineries, the computers. All these things are coming under startup cost. We will need some financial opportunities to fund these expenses. And when it comes to growth and expansion, again, we will need financing. So as a business grows, it may need additional funding to expand operations, because they may have to hire new employees. So they will have to pay salaries for them, and they may have to invest more on research and development, because they they need to extend their market and expand the market. So for growth and expansion, financing is important, and cash flow, because in order to run the business, there will be day-to-day expenses that we need to finance. The business will have to pay for bills, and they have to run the payroll, and they have to buy the inventory, and there can be marketing expenses. So for all these things, we need financing, and also to manage the risk, financing is important. So obtaining financing can also help business to manage the risk by allowing them to maintain a buffer of cash reserves. So always the business needs to maintain some retained reserves in order to ensure that they can meet sudden expenses. They can face challenges, so that in order to mitigate the risk, they will need finance. So when you start a business, how can you find how can you find different financing options? So one option can be using your personal investment. So um, you may think of that, saving money and start a business. So that is your personal investment. And also you may borrow money from your family or friends. So bankers call this patient capital, because you're not in a hurry to pay it out. So it's money that is repaid once your business becomes profitable. Therefore, it's referred to as patient capital. And also, you may borrow money from Small Business Association microloans. We also call it SBA microloans. So you will be able to borrow money starting from $500 to $50,000. And also there are angel investors who usually look for investing money for startup businesses. And Also, there are venture capitalists, and venture capitalists are usually seek to invest their money in risky business, and more often they are searching for opportunities in tech-driven companies with huge growth potential. And the incubators are the organizations that provide any kind of resources for startup companies. Like, so when it comes to resources, it can be cash as well as consultancy, uh, support, laboratories, office space. So these can be incubators. So all these so you can see that there are different options that you can look for when you want to finance for a startup business. And also government subsidies and grants are available if you need to fund businesses. So in order to obtain government subsidies and grants, you will have to fulfill certain requirements. And if you have fulfilled certain requirements, if you are um, eligible to obtain government subsidy and grants, then you will be able to obtain funds for your business. And um, another famous option would be bank loans. So when you take a bank loan, then you will have to pay the interest. So the bank will give you the repayment schedule when they offer you the bank loan. And also you will have to maybe provide some securities to the bank in order to obtain the bank loan. So these are some of the business financing options available for a startup business. So after explaining all these things, I asked them whether they have any questions. And after answering to their queries, I gave them the time to do this group activity. I asked them to discuss and come up with 3 financial opportunities for your business idea, because I asked them to think of a new business idea that they can use in their poster plan. So based on that business idea, I asked them to think of financial opportunities for the business ideas that they have. So this is the end of my presentation. Uh, Thank you very much.